Alright, so I guess this video is gonna be more like a blog than the usual type of content that I produce. And a lot of it is I'm still trying to process how I feel about everything that happened in Afghanistan with the fall of Kabul. I think a lot of us are struggling right now with this feeling that it was all for nothing. I see a lot of people comparing the situation to Vietnam. You can't compare those two. In Vietnam, there was a set border. People were fighting over political control of that land, which I suppose counts for the Taliban as well. But the North Vietnamese army and the Viet Cong, they had backing from Soviet Russia, China at the time. There was huge state actors involved, and that lasted half the time these conflicts that we've had in the Middle East have lasted. With Afghanistan, we couldn't just push past to another border and secured it. We can't. It's not like people will say about Vietnam, if they'd been allowed to move to certain locations, if they'd have been allowed to invade in certain areas, they could have kept that from happening. That's not the case with Afghanistan. The Taliban was a criminal organization. They were very much underground. They didn't have state sponsors. Well, they did, but they didn't have overt state sponsors. They didn't fly into the flag of Iran or Saudi Arabia or anything like that. They're their own entity, and they turn around and bite the hands of anybody who's feeding them anyway. North Vietnam wasn't like that. They stayed allies with whoever supported them in their conflict. The Taliban promised that they've changed. The North Vietnamese army and the Viet Cong, they didn't say, "Oh, we're not the same VC that we were 10 years ago." The Taliban's over saying, "Oh, yeah, we're not the same. It's okay, guys." Do I believe them? Fuck no. Nobody in the right mind would. But they also understand that we whoop their asses militarily, and if we chose to stick around, we can. We just decided, enough's enough. We just don't feel like being there anymore. So went ahead and wrapped it up, took it home. We lost some good guys, a lot of good people over there, and gals. But at the end of the day, you just got to look at the fact that the Taliban, they're promising that they're not the same Taliban they used to be. I guess we won in that regard. We did what we set out to do. We got Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden. But the important thing is just to keep your head above the water, to keep pushing forward, keep putting one foot in front of the other. There are a lot of resources out there. If you need anybody to vent to, you got me. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. There's professional resources out there. I know for me personally, I go to a support group with the U.S. PTSD Foundation. It's a great bunch of guys. Now their organization's pretty religious and pretty conservative, which is the exact opposite of what I am. But for me, it's very, very beneficial to be around other people who have similar experiences that I can talk to, that I can process some of the things that I'm feeling, that I'm thinking. And I think for a lot of you guys out there, it's going to be important for you to do as well, to process it, and to let whatever feelings you have about this come. Put it on paper, write it down in a journal, talk to somebody. Just don't unravel over this. Don't fall into addictions or any sort of bad behaviors just because you're suffering psychologically or emotionally from this. There are a lot of healthy coping mechanisms that you can use. For me personally, I've been doing a lot of work to get back in shape. I've actually managed to get off of a lot of the medications I used to be on. Coming out of the Army and having to deal with all the emotional and psychological issues that came along with that. try to find a hobby or something. I'm a pretty nerdy guy, so I like to play my board games and paint my little miniatures and stuff like that. And to me, that gives me something to do. I've also got my job, which I work in general management now. So for anybody else who's ever worked in management, and I work in the fast food industry, which is a lot of putting out fires and just not literal fires, mind you, just problem solving type things. Actually, it's kind of funny, and I guess to diverge from the heavier side of this subject, general management in the fast food world, there's a lot of strange similarities to being an NCO in the Army. You've got your team of people that are looking to you for guidance. You can't let them know that you don't have all the answers. You do what you can to provide a good example for them and try to help guide people through their careers. You got to maintain responsibility to people further up the chain of command, and it's actually pretty rewarding. A lot of hours though. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna get away from those day in day out things once I retired. It's like, I'm gonna get a nice 9 to 5. Now my schedule's minimum 50 hours a week, and I'm pretty sure last week I put in close to 70, possibly 80. It was pretty ridiculous, but it's got its own rewards. Now, I guess for me, that's the thing I'm going to have to do, is make sure that I don't try to drown myself in work. I know that's something that I did for a long time. Then when I wasn't working, I went through a long period where I filled that empty space with drinking. Managed to break that. Now I just got to make sure that I'm not going back the other way and just substituting everything with work. Make sure you make some time for leisure as well. I'm not really sure what else to say in this video. I know I'm just as conflicted as a lot of you. I do think we did some good. I still keep in touch with a couple of the old terjemain, which are the interpreters. They made it over here to the U.S. Some of them still got family over in Afghanistan. So, just keep your thoughts with those guys, and for the religious types, I guess keep them in your prayers. But there's gonna be a lot of dead space in this video. I think I'm just still trying to piece it all together, figure out what I think about it, how I feel about it. I think I've said most of that throughout this video. But the sun's still gonna come up. Nothing else, at least I still get to hang out with my kids. I got my girl here. I'm gonna go on Sunday and get my 7-year-old. Probably scoop up my older 2 on the way back and spend some time with them before they have to kick off school. Got to been getting to play some online games with my girls up in Kansas City, and that's been a lot of fun. So I'm definitely eating up all this time that I get with them now that I wasn't getting before while I was in, especially with all 3 of my deployments happened within like the first 9 years of my career, so like 1 out of 3 years I was spent away from home. But at least it's done. Not happy with the result, but can't blame the president either. Donald Trump had also talked about pulling people out. Obama had talked about doing it. Thought George Bush was going to do it. I didn't realize he was going to leave it around for everybody else to pick up after. But somebody was going to have to pull the plug on this machine at some point. No matter who it was, they were going to take some flack from it. If Trump had done it, then Democrats would have been all pissed off at him for abandoning our allies in Afghanistan. Joe Biden did it, so all the Republicans are going to be pissed off at him, saying that he ran away. But eventually it was going to come to this. But I am holding on to that little bit of positivity where we did scare the shit out of the Taliban. where they know that if they renege on their side of the bargain, or if they allow Al Qaeda to go operate inside of their borders, then we can always just go back, and now we know where they're at because we just put them all in one place. When was the last time anybody heard anything about ISIS? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. How do you get an organization that is so extreme that not even the Taliban wants to, or the Al Qaeda wants to deal with you? So we'll see. We'll see what they do with their country. Who knows? Maybe they get some trade contracts with somebody and decide that, hey, there's a lot more happiness in making money than there is in blowing shit up. We'll see. But, like, at least now they know that they can't handle us militarily. So if they fuck up too much, they know that we're one election away from going back. No matter who goes in office, it's there's something about politicians. They love to pad their resumes with being a wartime leader. But it's like Achilles said in Troy, and it's funny because this line is actually in the Iliad. But war is old men talking and young men dying. At least now we don't have to worry so much about the young men dying part, but the old men's still going to talk. We'll see what they're talking about for the next 8 to 16 years, I guess. We'll see what happens. But life will still go on. We'll still be here, still doing whatever it is we got to do. I guess that's about all I can say for now. At this point, I feel like I'm pretty much just rambling, and like I said, even right now, my thoughts and emotions on this whole situation are pretty scrambled. Even though I'm not a war-loving person, I don't care much for it. But whenever it came down to it, even those of us that don't care for it, at least willing to step up and do what's got to be done. I guess better somebody like. Guess it's better to have people that hate war, that fighting in them, than people that love it. Because if you get somebody who hates it, at least that whenever it comes time to fight, they're gonna be thinking about it. They're gonna be picking their targets right, and they're gonna be focusing on the right things and keeping the person to the left and right of them alive, rather than just going in and just blowing whatever the fuck up just because they're trigger happy and don't have enough discipline to pick the targets and to engage the right target at the right time. So, but again, like I said, at this point, it's pretty much just rambling. But for any of you that just need a process, let me know. I'll be here for you. Love you all. Y'all be good.